right, so let's bring in our guest, Mr. Ambrose Igboke. He's the chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analyst in Enugu State Chapter. Mr. Igboke, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Let's go to this Nigeria, at least with everything that everyone perhaps is talking about. Next up, state assemblies. Senate passes historic state police bill. Mr. Igboke is here finally. What do you make of it?
I have always been an advocate for, state police because what happened to us with the decree issued by General Aguiyi-Ironsi in 1966 was a national tragedy where everything was centralized in a command and control structure. It's still what is affecting us today, where we don't have a true fiscal federalism, where our federalism is still tied to a kind of unitary system of government. Every month, state governors go to Abuja to collect national stipends called a federal allocation. This should not be in a federating country, an entity like Nigeria. Let's keep doing this until we touch the core of fiscal federalism, where the subnationals are actually the power base of economy, and they pay taxes and some royalties and other things to the center. That is how a country should run. While the federal government is left with important matters like currency, defense, diplomacy, and other things. That is where, if you check countries that run very well, you see it, very, very functional in those kind of states. So for us to have started with security is a good one, because that section of the Constitution that empowers the state governor to be the chief security officer, while at the same time stripping him of all the powers that are daring as a chief executive officer, is very befuddling. It's contradictory. But again, those are the kind of things put together by the military. Most of their constitutions were put together by military. There were carryovers of decrees, from subsequent military regimes. I think at a point, I don't know whether they were afraid of the police, where they didn't want to give police so much power and make sure they control them, just like the army structure. The police is not like the army structure. The police is for the civilians, and therefore they are not supposed to be run that way. So if this comes true, and we pray it does, then the governors will not have any excuse anymore. A governor will say, there's insecurity because I don't have the powers to do this. And sometimes we have seen commissioners of police snub the governor and deride the governor, disrespect governors and the rest. So when you make this happen, then the security of the local security will be in the hands of the governors. So they come in the forest, you not wait for an inspector general of police from Abuja to come cook the forest for you, or the chief of what we call the commander-in-chief to come around. So collaborations will now be the key. And then a lot of states already have some kind of structures. So it may be upgrading, like some of them have forest guards, some of them have these things. So the trainings. So when we have the police, we need to map out what's the structure, how is the training going to be, what is the identification, what ranks and all those things, who's eligible. So some of these powers will be derived from the federal police, because now policing is in a concurrent place if it is achieved. And we hope that is achieved even before the next election. Meanwhile, there are fears about what the state governors some state governors may be able to do with the state police. But I think those fears, while they are there, we'll find the ways to see how we can hedge them. But the advantages of state police far more outweighs the disadvantages.
Well, the papers are awash with state police this morning, the state police story, and there's evident enthusiasm in all of the reportage. But you said something critical that should be highlighted, Mr. Igboke, and that would be that collaboration is key. Even under the current structure, there's always been an advocacy for collaboration, for a synergy amongst the subnationals to execute, joint security, whatever it would look like, and that has been evidently lacking. So I wonder if there'll be any difference this time when they're all acting alone and by compulsion. That's just to highlight that particular part. Yeah. You want to say something?
Yeah, let me say something. Some state governors have been, over the years, have been so disconcerted by the way the federal police arrangement is made. I remember Governor Chibika Amechi, when he was governor of Rivers State, trained some policemen, even brought in, I think, the Israelis to make some trainings and the rest, equip them, give them capacity training. And the next thing, some of them were transferred out of the state. So, but with this state police, you could still, maybe governors living in a contiguous zone, like geopolitical zone, cannot collaborate and say, okay, we train our police, is what they need. You cannot do cross-border security, actions together. You cannot equip your police the way you want it to be equipped. You cannot buy the equipment. When you do resource training for them, you know that they're going to stay in your state. You are not afraid that they're going to be posted out in the next minute by one IG that just comes in. And with this, people can plan long-term for security issues. And I think it will be a good development for overall security in the country.
Indeed. And let's look at just a few stories on the front page of leadership newspapers, which also, have to do with security. Right there beside the big story on the right-hand corner of leadership newspaper, Nigeria backs U.S. sanctions against ISWAP financiers. Right under it, you find Governor Sule links terrorism banditry to Alamajiri system out of school children crisis. And lastly, right under it as well, terrorism court sentences 2 Nigerians, 1 foreigner to death. I'd like you to tie these 3 stories together.
Well, the 3 stories revolve around terrorism. I don't think we do not know why terrorism exists. I think it is all there. It is all, even in papers, articles, journal research, position papers, investigations. Indeed, even just, I think, less than 48 hours ago, we were told that 3 Nigerians were also fingered as sponsors of terrorism who run bureau de change. So these things are there. The way you link the Alimajiri factor, you find out that when you have millions of children, teenagers, roaming around the streets, looking for where to eat, looking for what to do, these are ready machines for the hands of recruitment for the terrorists. And these have been happening. President Goodluck Jonathan, in his time, tried to see how he could stem the tide of Almajiris by building what he called Almajiri schools all over the northern part of the country. But immediately he left office, the thing collapsed. Those places are overgrown with weeds and all kinds of things. One begins to wonder what kind of leadership will allow the Almajiris, schools that he built, where he wanted to, bring them in to be educated, to have skills and be able to be off the street. But it seems that there's some particular clique of elites that do not want these Alimajiri children to be off the streets because they are just tools to be used by them. So the federal government should not look at it as, and some people are trying to color it as a religious issue. It's not religion. Islamic religion have one of the best best scholars in the world, that best scientists and all those. Go to Iran, they have one of the best scientists in the world. Go to Saudi Arabia, go to the people who promoted Islam to us. They are one of the best in terms of scholars and academic brilliance. So nobody should try to use religion to fool us and tell us, oh, the Al-Majri is not a religious system. It's not true. The religious system is supposed to be tutored in science, in Arabic, in Islam, in everything. So the federal government should take it as a way. Maybe there's a way they can bring in the revered royal institutions in the north to see how they can begin to tackle this thing so that they'll not be at the disposal of terrorists. And also, the American collaboration with Nigeria is good. Let's also look at our brethren because most of them coming from Chad, Niger, and the rest. That interborder and entity of states trying to collaborate should continue, because I think we have had a drag recently because of the issues that happened in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso pulling out of ECOWAS. But I think it's time to also look at, even if they are not part of ECOWAS, let's look at security of our contiguous entities. And we thought that we can be able to do something. But now it is a very dangerous situation where these people can just walk in, ISWAP and all other terrorist organizations can walk in and have millions of ready hands to be recruited. It's dangerous, very, very dangerous for our security trials we have been trying to execute.
Mr. Booker, as we begin to wind down, let's go to the Guardian newspaper, just above or beneath the nameplate. Some stories there. Mr. Nanuga granted an interview in a sister station. I literally stoked the fire when he said the hunger that people are complaining about, he doesn't seem to see it. The sample size was people that worked with him, which was a bit interesting because even the president has acknowledged in his June 12th speech the hardship Nigerians are facing due to the economic policy where he's asking for patience. So I'd like you to respond to that. So presidency detached from reality, says opposition after Nanuga's no hunger remarks. And then Nigeria targets 277 gigawatt power by 2060. Very ambitious. Presidency denies Tinubu's "don't vote for me" comments. And I had to go and listen to what he said. You know, he had said if there will not be estimated billing, and if he comes back and he doesn't give you power, don't vote for him. He said, unless I give you adequate reasons why I couldn't deliver, and it's convincing enough. Those were the full statements. So that verdict doesn't lie with the president, it lies with us. If it's convincing, it's not him, it's us. But what's your comment?
Well, let me start with the Tinubu story about electricity. Tinubu knows Nigerians very well. He knows that they will forget about it and they will not even interrogate him on that. And because we are people who do politics with our hearts and not with our head. So far, it's the color of our party, it's our party logo, our party leader has said it, it's from our ethnic group, it's from our religion, it's from my side. Everything is okay, well, no matter how bad he does it. So he knows Nigerians, and he knows that they won't take him seriously. They won't even interrogate those things. He said, I will quote Rotimi Amechi again that said one time in a campaign, I've forgotten the year, when he said, we politicians do what we do because you don't stone us. He said it in a stadium, people were clapping for him. And there were stones lying down everywhere. Nobody used it. So we are what we are as a people, or we are docile. Politicians will keep on making statements like that, grandiose statements like that. And when the time comes, they will renege on it because they know we won't take it seriously. As for Mr. Onanuga, he's not the presidency. The president and commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic has also acknowledged the fact that there's poverty in the land. I always said that Bayo Onanuga does not know how to speak as a spokesperson because he's not a PR person. He's not trained in the art of public communication. He's just a journalist. And sometimes I sympathize with the limitations of his knowledge. He's a brilliant person, a brilliant journalist, but that is where it is. I mean, he thinks he's writing opinions, or articles or feature stories. That is the problem. Where you apply, so he is a researcher. Has he done his research? So when you do, there's what you call population of study and sample size in research. Where did he get it? So when you want to make that of statement, that means you have to go through every country, every state in Nigeria to be able to pull that sample size. But he didn't do that. As usual, he just made a flippant statement. I think I should encourage him to read them if he has not, but I suspect he would have by now. Read about the story of what happened in King Louis and his wife Marie Antoinette, because this was the kind of answer that Marie Antoinette gave, leading to the president where they asked her, "Oh, the people have no bread to eat." He said, "Well, they don't have bread, give them cake." That is how detached she was from reality, because cake was more expensive than bread, and people were dying for lack of bread. And you are saying the substitute is cake. I don't blame him. I think he has forgotten also. Onanuga has forgotten quickly what happened to him while he was fighting for restoration of democracy in 1993 up to 1998, where there were ones that did guerrilla journalism. So I think sometimes comfort can make you forget the days of integrity.
Mr. Ambrose Igboke, thank you so much. Chairman Guild of Public Affairs Analysts, Enugu State Chapter. As I said, Mr. Onanuga's sample size for the people that worked in his house, and he expects them to tell him the truth. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Having me this morning.
Thank you. We'll take a break, and when we come back after this break, we'll get to the conversation the very first. So we're talking about state police, we're going to talk about freedom of speech and democracy. Otumba Shegushonwobi is our guest. Join us again.
Otumba.
You'll be here.
It takes some learning, yeah.
Stay.